Hello and welcome to RT Ministries. And today we're going to do Let's Talk. I haven't done a Let's Talk in a while. Just kind of pick a verse and we'll talk about it. Today I picked 1 Peter 4:7. With all the things going around with COVID and the world's changing and the world's trying to come together and, everything seems to be ripping apart out there. And what do we as Christians do? Well, obviously we got to trust the Lord, And I think this verse speaks to us. And here's the verse. It says, "The end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be self-controlled and sober-minded for the sake of your prayers." And then I think I'll go one more. "Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins." We'll go 1 Peter 4:7 and 8. I've heard preachers say that Revelation's here, the mark of the beast, and all that stuff with COVID-19, and we're not there. Obviously, there's no Antichrist running around. But do I think we're closer? Yes. Do I think the stage is being set for the mark of the beast and all that? Definitely. Do I think the world's coming to an end soon? I don't know. I don't put dates and I don't claim to know when. I just am looking at the signs of the times. But the Bible has something to say. Listen, if you've been chosen for this time in your life to be alive during this time, whatever comes, listen, you gotta rest in your mind that you've been chosen to be alive at this time. Persecution is rising against the church all over the world, the true church. Even the persecution of the Jews are rising. Everything's rising. It seems like a storm of evil has just come up over the whole world. The COVID-19 is gonna, they're talking about immunization shots and markers and all the stuff so people can tell I've heard people comment, high-level people say that they want everybody to take the shot and have a mark so they know you've taken the shot. You can certainly see where all this is heading. But again, I don't claim to know that. I don't think the world's going to end anytime soon. I'm just saying this is certainly a precursor of it. And 1 Peter 4:7 says, "The end of all things is at hand." Listen, we've been living in the end times since Jesus Christ left this earth. So we're certainly a lot closer to the end now than when Jesus left. We're 2,000 years into it. And the world is clipping right along towards the one world order, a mark that everybody's got to take. Economies are in trouble all over the world. So there's a lot of things happening that's never happened before. So again, I don't claim the world's coming to an end. I just need to read the times. It says, "Therefore, if the end of all things is at hand, therefore be self-controlled." Listen, first thing you need to do, Christian, is be self-controlled. Control yourself. Stay on the path. Keep going straight. It's easy to be thrown off the path. Be self-controlled. With sin, the sin is rising in this world. It's easier to get yourself tangled into sin. Be self-controlled. Listen, nothing makes you do anything. You have to be self-controlled. If you choose to sin, you've chosen to do it. And times in my past, I have chosen to do sin. I've fallen for the lie before that some things you can't avoid. And, there is no excuse for sin. Yes, we all sin, but there's no excuse living in sin. So be self-controlled and sober-minded, meaning understand what times you're in. A lot of churches in America are just blinded to what time we're in. They can't even, they're just going about their day thinking everything's great, and they're so oblivious to what's going on. Listen, sober-mindedness comes when you look at the times. Look at the times that we're in. Make a reasonable assumption where you are. God has given you common sense to look at the times. Nobody knows dates, but we can know times and seasons. So the end of all things is at hand. Peter said this 2,000 years ago, that the end of all things is at hand. He thought it was then. "Therefore, be self-controlled and sober-minded," right? "For the sake of your prayers." Why? Because now you're going to need prayers more often. For the sake of your prayers, keep yourself clean and keep yourself sober-minded so your prayers will not be hindered. Excuse me. Listen, if you're living in sin or you're sinning, as a Christian, your prayers will be hindered. God won't hear you. This is why it says, for the sake of your prayers, be self-controlled and sober-minded. Again, what do you do in the end time? We're getting towards the end time. What do? Be self-controlled and sober-minded. For the sake of your prayers. Above all, here's the key. Above all that, what do? Love one another. Love. Above all, keep loving one another earnestly. It's not only be sober-minded and self-controlled. Listen, keep on loving everybody. Listen, your love should grow. The world needs love, to see love. There's a time to be angry in this world, but there's also a time for love. And to keep on loving one another, especially your church members. Listen, let's talk about the body of Christ. Keep on loving one another. Quit being selfish and love people. Love other people. Love one another, since the love covers a multitude of sins. Listen, love covers sin. Love covers a multitude of sin. Listen, the love of God constrains us, right? I mean, God's love has helped me in my walk with Him. God's love has brought me back to Him when I swayed away from Him. God's love has done a lot of things for me. It's hard to put into words. But listen, if you keep on loving one another, the world will see something different and know that you belong to God. They can see it. In a time where the love's growing cold, and Jesus said in the later times, which I'm sure we're in, love is growing cold, and I can see love growing cold out there. That's why we need to love. It says here, exact words, keep loving one another earnestly. Not just, I love you. But it says earnestly. When you earnestly do something, you put everything you got into it. Keep loving one another, because it covers a multitude of sins. Listen, if you keep loving people at your church, you'll never have nothing against them. If you keep loving people at your church, they'll know you love them. They'll come to you, right? As a pastor, you love all your people, right? You love them earnestly. Because there's nobody in the world don't love one another. They use one another, devour one another. And, they don't see love out there. So what do we do in these end times? Few things. For yourself, be self-controlled and sober-minded. Right? Now to do, after you're self-controlled and sober-minded, you turn and you earnestly love one another. Show the world that you love them, right? By telling them about Christ, the only true way. Listen, don't forget, people who do not hear about Christ, who do not come to Christ, will not be in heaven, they will be in hell. We have this weird idea that just about everybody goes to heaven, and that's just simply not true. In fact, the Bible teaches most go to hell. So listen, if you love somebody, you tell them about Christ. If you love somebody, you won't hold grudges against them. If you love your brothers and sisters, because there are brothers and sisters, then it'll cover a multitude of sins. And frankly, that's what we need today. You need to be an encouragement to other people in your church. There's other people that you don't even know about watching you. Listen, I love everybody out there. I'm trying to get the truth to people out there. God called me to teach, and I'm teaching. I tell everybody the truth. I don't pull any punches. I'll tell you the truth. So keep on loving one another. Be self-controlled and sober-minded. Look at the times you're in. You can't be ignorant about the times you're in. The times are changing all over the world. And keep on loving one another. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.